gehen wir denn jetzt hin? Stimulanz finden. Ich weiß auch nicht.
This quack hasn't got anything more for us to learn right now. Her eyes are glazed over and she's got a vacant if we didn't know she'd been...
Das hatten wir auch schon.
As amusing as it is to chat with this oddball, I think we've exhausted his usefulness at the moment.
Es ist bekannt, dass Leute, die schwarze Magie in dieser Stadt praktizieren, diese Methode anwenden. Pinzette, nützliches Werkzeug, um Gegenstände zu greifen, die für menschliche Hände zu klein sind. Oder um diese verdammten Augenbrauenhaare zu zupfen. Leere Flasche von Pillen, die dazu gemacht wurde, um auch die faulendsten Menschen mit Energie stoßen zu lassen. Nur für den Gebrauch durch Männer empfohlen. Enthält 98% Benzylmethyl. Gogninini. Zerrissener Brief. Ja. Okay. Vielleicht gehe ich nochmal zu der Mutter von dem. Weil die kennt sich doch mit... Oh, sicher ein Autosave. Ja. Karte. Hier. Muss ich nochmal hin.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
Hallo. Sabine Morgan.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Gut. Mein Tee bitten. Ja, komm,
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Oh, da kann ich mich da hinten umgucken. Ups.
Amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
Könnt ihr sich um Befindlichkeiten kümmern?
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin. I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Hinterzimmer.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road?
Ja, will ich. Druck auf sie ausüben,
I
yes.
had a look behind your curtain. Care to explain what all those things in that back room are?
Mr. Fordham, I was under the impression you could be trusted. Clearly, Albert was wrong about you.
Why are you keeping them out of view? What's their significance?
I don't like people invading my privacy, Mr. Fordham. You're no longer welcome in my home. Please leave.
But without me, your son won't get out of jail. Nobody else thinks he's innocent. Are you really going to put your pride over your son's life?
And now you insult me? You're really something special. I won't say it again. Get out!
Ich wollte doch bloß wissen.
Clearly hit a nerve there, Fordham.
Rather suspicious, if you ask me. Perhaps her and Mr. Martin's religious practices aren't as innocent as they claim to be.
An interesting notion.
Da ist ja
Well, I
wohl...
can't deny that the evidence against Mr. Martin is somewhat damning. If his mother was so sure of his innocence, she'd surely have explained what all those things behind the curtain were. I don't think Upton will appreciate being proven wrong. But like Fellows said, facts are facts.
Was Verdächtige. Notizbuch. So, durch Madame Duprees Sohn beschuldigt. In einer Beziehung mit der Tochter von Madame Dupree, Juliette Montgomery. Upton hielt ihn für unschuldig, aber seine Familie praktiziert Voodoo und laut Dr. Fellows wurde Dupree wahrscheinlich vergiftet. Ja, das ist schon, wenn die nichts zu verbergen hat, hätte sie ruhig sagen können, was da hinten ist.
Could I ask you some more questions, Mr. Martin?
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
So, Hass von Dupree.
Albert, did you hate Madame Dupree?
The woman is cruel, sadistic, and bigoted. When she found out about my relationship with Juliet, she sent me a letter threatening to have me killed if I got near her house or her daughter. So yes, Mr. Fordham, I hated her. But even so, I love her daughter. I wouldn't be so cruel as to take Juliet's mother away from her, even if she hated her too.
I beg your pardon?
Juliet and her mother didn't get along at all. I never asked why, but it was obvious there was
Das
something
hatten wir doch
going
schon mal, oder
on.
nicht?
Intriguing.
Ne, doch nicht.
That's all for now.
Ja, doch nicht. Nee, Brief. Dr. Fellows Aussage. Ursache des Konflikts von Juliette und ihrer Mutter finden. Return to Upton and accuse Albert Martin. Nee, das möchte ich jetzt noch nicht. Jetzt würde ich erst nochmal mit der Juliette reden. Vielleicht bekommen wir aus der noch was rausgequetscht. Das war Uni, ne? Kann ich da noch irgendwas looten oder hat sich irgendwas verändert? Nee.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Not at all. Andrew.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy. If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliette might not want to make her research public, though.
Oh, Experimente.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
Ich bin Detective. Ich habe einen Ersatzschlüssel in ihrem Zimmer gefunden. Ihr Bruder hat mir von den Experimenten erzählt. Wenn ich solche Dinge nicht herausfinden würde, wäre ich nicht besonders gut in meinem Job. Das sagen wir mal.
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't find things out, Miss Montgomery. Now please, drop the act and tell me about your experiments.
Fine. I've been researching etheric effects on living organisms. I'm planning on presenting my discoveries to the board once I make more progress. So far, I've managed to discover that plant growth is accelerated significantly. It's given me quite the advantage in class.
But isn't that cheating?
You have no idea how difficult it's been for me to be taken seriously, Mr. Fordham. No matter how hard I tried, my work wasn't valued on its own merits by my peers or professors. I fought hard to get where I am. I wasn't about to lose all that just because some pig-headed idiots didn't think my best was good enough.
That sounds awfully familiar.
What about your notes on the effects of ethericity on animals?
Oh, those aren't complete. I haven't tested the effects on anything larger than flies.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
experiments were mainly to satisfy my curiosity, but they have little to do with my actual research.
Curiosity? Seems like a lot of effort to go to just to answer a question. But then, I never really understood these scientific types.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Okay. So. Stimulanz, Grabmal des Chestertons. Können wir hier noch irgendwas mitnehmen? Irgendwas mopsen?
She's busy.
Hoppala.
That's not to bother her.
Ja, will ich ja gar nicht. Ich habe mich verdrückt. Ist jetzt die Frage, weil zum Friedhof können wir nicht, da passiert nichts. Da waren wir gerade. Die Prä. Wir gehen jetzt nochmal zu uns nach Hause, vielleicht weiß ja unsere Frau irgendwas.
I'm here.
Hello, Miles.
Hello.
So, what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupre? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
Annie, kann mir die nicht helfen?
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Ah, hier. über sie selbst.
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
Ihr Kompliment
I've
machen.
still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am.
So, Madame Dupree.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupre?
I've read that the Dupreys are one of the few wealthy families that exclusively employ real people to serve. Rather commendable, don't you think?
Yes. It makes it even more baffling why she was attacked. Have you heard any gossip from your clients? Anything about who might have wanted to harm her?
Nothing. She's held in the highest regard by the other Grand Dames. If she had actually died, I'd have expected them to petition her canonization.
How's work going? You have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon Grand Dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
Buch.
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Wie
Lately, I
gemeinsam.
haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Das hat uns jetzt auch nicht wirklich weitergeholfen,
Let her
ne?
read in peace for now.
Oh. Schade. Warte mal. Schließen. Jetzt komme ich da nicht mehr raus. Gehen wir noch mal zum Herrenhaus.
This quack hasn't gotten any.
Oh Mann.
Would have asked some instead.
Ich bin gerade puff. Doch mal zum Kaffeehaus gehen. Mit der reden. Der Konstanz abtönen.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Voll nochmal
I wanted to
durchgehen.
go over the case with you.
Okay, what if...
So, was wissen wir? Polizist Andrew Montgomery.
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I have a feeling it will take something a touch more powerful than coffee.
Polizist
I
auf dem
seem to have hit
Friedhof.
a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's family tomb. He won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
Da bin ich schon wieder. Was heißt schon wieder? Der Hund musste mal. Und ich musste auch mal. So. Achso, jetzt haben wir mit der geredet. Verdammt. Aber wir haben auch nix. Was können wir denn mit der Pinzette machen? Leere Flaschen Pillen. Können wir die nicht irgendwo auffüllen? Fässer.
Specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee.
Aber kann ich da nix benutzen?
She's running back and forth at lightning.
Nee. Sonst kann ich da nix nehmen. Ich kann jetzt den Fall auch nicht abschließen, weil sonst beschuldige ich den. Ich glaube, das ist einfach falsch. Gehen wir jetzt noch mal kurz die Orte ab.
Nothing else to ask him right now. He hasn't got much time left. Best not to waste it.
Irgendwas, was wir noch tun können.
He's watching you like a...
Ja, ja.
Not much of a view. But then it's not as though people in here are meant to have many luxuries.
Aber sonst gibt's hier eigentlich... Nee, gibt's nicht. Okay, da ist nix. Die Herrenhaus, da waren wir gerade. Ja. Aussicht, Gruft. Wind. Gruft. Gruft. Oh, können wir noch mal mit dem reden?
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Nee. Können wir auch nichts machen. Dann doch nochmal zum Dupree-Anwesen.
Her eyes are glazed. If
Ja.
we didn't know she'd be... This quack hasn't got...
Nee, da gibt's auch nichts mehr. Hier gibt's auch nichts. Gehen wir mal hinein. Kann man mit dem vielleicht noch reden? Ist ein Keks.
Holly, want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Pieces of 8?
Bye, matey.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
As amusing as it is to...
Okay, dann gehen wir nochmal hier.
There's nothing useful to the investigation in there.
Wir schauen nochmal. Bücherschrank. Gibt's da keinen Geheimscheiß? Nee, ne? Nee. Schubladen.
Oh, dear God, no. Please, let's not expose ourselves to that drivel again. Nothing else of interest in there. Nothing else...
Okay. Ah, hier die Noten. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, das wird wahrscheinlich doch an dem blöden Klavier hängen. Ah, da haben wir immer noch keinen Schlüssel.
Locked.
Keinen Schlüssel. Schubladen am Tisch.
They're all empty. How unusual.
Not to mention disappointing.
Papiere. Nee, da ist nichts mehr. Verdammt. was machen? Nee. Nix angrapschen. Aua, aua. Hier, aber da können wir bloß die Musik anmachen. Vielleicht muss ich die auch machen, weil die stört beim Klavierspielen. Na, wir können es nochmal probieren. Was? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Ich fange mal von unten an beim tiefen C. Mist. C, D, E, F, G. G, das ist auch ein G. Ich versuch's mal so. C, D, E, F, G. Jetzt habe ich's so gespielt. Vielleicht muss ich die andersrum spielen. Nee. C, D, Cis, dis, E. Auch nicht. Aber es gibt ja aber da gar keinen Hinweis mehr von diesem Notending. Aber es muss ja irgendeinen Zusammenhang geben. Das soll ein C sein wahrscheinlich. The C-Scale, die C-Tonleiter. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. G, A, B, C. Und das ist ja ein tiefes C. Bis zum mittleren C. Habe ich gespielt, aber die will er nicht. Puh, 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 puh. Scheiße. Trägt die Schulbla. Bewohner des Dupré-Hauses befragen. Da bin ich dabei. Grabmal der Chestertons untersuchen, komme ich nicht rein. Stimulanz finden. Wo finde ich denn eine Stimulanz? Turn to Abner and accuse Albert Martin. Nee. Ursache des Konflikts von Juliet und ihrer Mutter finden. Boah, puh. Ich weiß auch nicht. Irgendwie. Sonst gab es ja da nichts mehr, ne? Nee. Küche, können wir da nicht irgendwas mopsen? Ofen, Tresen. Amelie, Amelie, Amela. Gewürzbehälter hat man schon. Da ist halt auch nix. Können wir mit der nochmal reden?
Stick around. I may have more questions for you later.
Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Aber die hat ja auch nichts mehr.
She's busy. That's not the bother.
Ja, ja.
Those flowers are
Stimulanz, ich muss doch hier irgendwo...
quite the assortment of plants they keep.
Irgendwo...
Judging from that I've never seen a one of those cute
Mist. Ja, aber das gibt's ja gar nicht. Und das mit dem Klavier kann auch nicht so schwer sein, oder? Ich will jetzt aber auch nicht in die Lösung schauen irgendwie. Oh Mann. Scheiße.
Hey, Addie. Here I am.
Welcome home.
Kann ich hier noch... Oh,
I'd love to
Polizeiknüppel.
see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon. Bollingworth Ale, my favorite. And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday. Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
Der Nix,
Your
Bücherschrank.
book collection is always a... Your book...
Das gleiche. Zeitung haben wir schon gelesen. Uhr, Miles Junior.
I can see why Adelaide called...
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Polizist ablenken. Ah.
I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
What is it?
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupre's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well, you are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
Ja.
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then.
Oh, nice. Jetzt geht's hin und sagt, hallo, Officer. Nazi.
Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
Ich hab doch meinen Stift
I seem to have
freigelassen.
gotten all turned around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way you came.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob me blind. Exactly how many of them have you got lying in wait for poor unsuspecting fools you bring them?
Just one.
Yes.
And he doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is
Warum
to
nicht
watch
gleich
you
so?
lose your head.
Miles, was that really necessary?
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work.
Jawohl. Dem Idioten immer
I
noch
have to
kleinen
say,
klatschen
I
können.
wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll be fine. When you're on the force as long as I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Although I think you may have already used up that privilege.
Oh,
Well, it's been fun, but I need to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
Nice, jetzt gehen wir in die Gruft. Into the Gruft. Oh. Was? Requies cat in pace. Requies cat in pace. Ruhe in Frieden. Lateinisch.
What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it. Hang on. You don't suppose this is...
Das ist doch das Versteck für den Schlüssel, oder nicht?
Surprise, surprise! A hidden compartment with a stash
Oder
of pills
halb Pillen, ja.
inside. Seems Mr. Montgomery has a little business on the side.
Oh yes.
I have to admit, it's a fairly ingenious hiding spot.
Bum bum. Nest.
That nest is full of eggs. But where's the mother bird?
Ja,
Perhaps she
unterwegs.
abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles? That nest,
Perhaps
always assuming...
So, Grabnische.
John Patrick Chesterton, 1740 to 1825. Patriarch, leader, family man.
Family man.
Desmond Chesterton, 1745 to 1810. Strong in life, stronger in death. Jane Scott Chesterton, 1746 to 1815. Ab Eterno. William Arthur Chesterton, 1770 to 1837, gone but never forgotten. Celine, 1823 to 1844, taken too soon, rest ye with the angels. Sarah Chesterton, 1784 to 1812, I told you I was sick. Douglas Chesterton, 1791 to 1840, good riddance. Dale Chesterton, 1795 to 1843, a good man, rest in peace.
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another. This must be what was going to be Madame Dupre's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What? Were you expecting a note from her attacker?
Ich würde sagen, ja.
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least.
This must be what was going...
I don't see any...
What?
No.
Ja, aber echt, was so ein Schmarrn. Was soll denn da jetzt drin sein? So, sonst ist hier nichts mehr, ne? Und wir haben ja die Mittelchen für den Andrew. Also können wir gleich mal zum Herrenhaus zurück. Und da hinein. Und da gehen wir mit dem Pilger. Der Pilger gehen wir ihm.
I have some questions for you. Oh, goody.
Goody.
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
No, it was these vigor pills. You wouldn't happen to know how they got there, would you?
I see you really are good at your job, aren't you, Mr. Fordham?
Look, Andrew, I'm in no mood for games.
Was Sie hier machen, ist höchst illegal. Ich habe keine andere Wahl, als Sie bei der Polizei anzuzeigen. Ich bin gewillt, über Ihre ungesetzlichen Aktivitäten hinwegzusehen, wenn Sie im Gegenzug kooperieren. Schweigen Sie einfach und nehmen Sie eine dieser Pillen. Ich mach mal das zweite.
I'm willing to overlook your unlawful activities in exchange for your cooperation.
Fine, but you have to understand, I'm not exactly feeling myself right now.
I understand perfectly, which is why I need you to take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you. My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work. My heart is racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more
Voll
time.
aufgedreht, ne?
Well, that seems to have done the trick. I just hope we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
So.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes well. I just hope Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started university. I'd be so disappointed if she couldn't see me finish.
Wer ist denn Jean, bitteschön?
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts. Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Why do people run away from their problems instead of facing them? Why, Miles?
Do you know where this cabin is?
Afraid not. I don't share his passions, so I never cared much to accompany him on his outings.
Schade. So, Papagei.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
Geschäft mit Pillen?
So, you're running some kind of pill business on the side.
I'm providing a service, Mr. Fordham. Not everyone in this life is as lucky as I am. People pay top crown for luxuries like airship tickets and social club memberships. Medicine should be affordable to all. Dr. Tennyson has a patent on the energy pill formula and thus a monopoly on the market. That means he can charge whatever he wants. Students use these kinds of pills all the time, you know. Academic rigors can be overwhelming, and concentrating can be difficult without help sometimes. I've got the skills and the equipment. If I can replicate the formula, help my fellow students, and sell them at a much more reasonable price, why shouldn't I?
There's the fact that what you're doing is illegal.
Oh, you're starting to sound just like Mother. And just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. I can think of plenty of examples where the opposite is true.
You're probably the most altruistic person I've met all month.
The sad part is it's true.
So, Juliette.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliette?
Juliette, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one. Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliette going to university. But you don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
Oh, but family matters are my favorite. It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
So,
What can you
Mutti.
tell me about Madame Dupre?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her. Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework.
Oh, ja,
Not
sehr
many
nett.
wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
Albert.
How is it you know Albert Martin?
He works at the greenhouse where my sister Juliet does her research. The two of them were involved romantically, and Mother didn't like that at all. I heard their fights. They were ghastly.
What exactly made you suspect he was the one responsible for what happened to your mother?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? His mother's a notorious voodoo witch. Those people do all sorts of awful things to our kind. It's all out of spite, you know. He knew Mother disapproved of his relationship with Juliet, so he plotted to get rid of her.
Dina.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants. Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got two on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning. You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Weil die Frage ist halt, wenn jemand die betäubt hat, dann wusste er ja, was er tut. Sprich, der wollte es möglichst grausam machen, dass sie dann sozusagen im Sarg aufwacht und lebendig begraben ist. Weil sonst hätte sie ja einfach mit irgendwas über den Schädel hauen können und fertig, ne? Deswegen, ich weiß auch nicht. Und ob es jetzt der Sohn war, aber der hat momentan auch noch kein richtiges Motiv, ne? Die Tochter vielleicht, also ich glaube der Typ nicht, das wäre zu einfach. Eventuell die Tochter. Oder vielleicht war es auch der Arzt. Ah nee, dann hätte er keinen Job mehr, das wäre auch blöd. Oder die Küchendame?
Der Gärtner, du Otto.
Der Gärtner, du Otto. Pyro, vielen lieben Dank für den Resub, 9 Monate, geil. Vielen lieben Dank, stimmt, der Gärtner. Du hast recht, der Gärtner, der ist ja auch nicht mehr. Der ist ja verschwunden sozusagen. Der ist seit ein paar Tagen, glaube ich, nicht mehr da, ne? Aber der Gärtner ist normalerweise immer der die Frauen pimpert. Aber das wäre auch der Gärtner. Natürlich war es der Gärtner. Ach, ich weiß nicht. Der Gärtner. Der könnte es natürlich sein. Der Gärtner, du Otto. Schauen wir mal. Schon die Präsjagdhütte finden. Fragen wir mal die Madame vielleicht. Ne, der Poolboy ist der pimpert. Ja, der auch. Aber der Gärtner könnte es inzwischen auch.
Yes? What is it? We mustn't be seen talking.
Warum?
Anything you can tell me about John?
I hardly ever see him. Only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
Scared of her?
Oh, it's true. You should see him when they're in private. Like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Was?
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Dupre?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn. Forget I said anything.
Oh, jetzt komm.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Dupre, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Dupre did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I
Ja,
think
das
she
wundert
even
mich
does it
nicht.
for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it. I don't know. But if Mr. Dupre knows what she do, it explains why he's so scared of her.
Did Madame Dupre ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky. But some of the others weren't.
Dann war es
Like
die
who?
nicht.
I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it, but I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with her, just before a beating.
Maybe she'd recite them some of her terrible poetry. I'm sure that was torture enough.
Also, unsere aktuellen Verdächtigen sind Guy und
Tell me
Celine.
more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
What happened to them?
I don't know. One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Dupre may have done something to them?
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
Okay. Ja, und
Looks like the
welche?
type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric.
Rot und
Nice
Orange.
variety of reds and oranges.
Also suchen wir ein rotes bzw. oranges Buch. Schauen wir mal. Guck mal. Hier. Entscheidung und Konsequenz, das hat sie immer mitgenommen.
Well, this should be the book Amelie mentioned. Well, what have we here?
A whip. And it has dried blood on it.
Oh.
How ghastly.
This house is just full of secrets, isn't it?
Können wir jetzt damit die Dupré auspeitschen, einfach mal so? Blutverschmierte Peitsche. Eine blutverschmierte Peitsche, die sich hinter einem Gemälde im Schlafzimmer befand. Vermutlich dafür verwendet, um ihre Bediensteten zu schlagen. Was für eine Hure. Kann ich jetzt das packen und sie damit einfach auspeitschen? Fände ich gut.
I have some questions for you.
All right.
So, Guy.
Did you know Guy Dumas?
The old gardener? Sure, I knew him. We didn't talk very much. He was just a servant after all, but he seemed like a nice man. He stopped coming around about 2 months ago. Too bad, really. He did a good job of keeping the gardens looking nice. The new one is all right, but he just doesn't have that special touch Guy did.
Were you familiar with a servant named Celine?
Yes, I believe she was one of the maids. I didn't talk to her very much. Oh, she quit not so long ago. At least I assume she did. I haven't seen her in about 3 months.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Bestimmt hat die alte blöde Sau die Celine kaputt gehauen. Und dann hat der Guy wollte dann die Mutter vergiften.
Holly, want a cracker?
No,
Ja,
So
ich zeig doch immer das Gleiche, blöder Vogel. So, Mutti, kann ich mir die Peitsche um die Ohren hauen?
Her eyes are glazed over. If we didn't
Nee,
know
kann ich
she'd been
nicht.
buried
Oh, jetzt können wir mit ihm reden.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
So.
Tell me what you know about Jean Dupré.
I'd rather not speak of him. Madame Dupré does not need to be agitated any further.
I take it you don't look very favorably upon him then.
I'll just say this. If my wife had been attacked and left for dead, you can be sure I wouldn't leave her side.
Oh, das war
What a
gleich ihr
gentleman.
Mann.
He doesn't even leave women who aren't his wife.
I see what you mean. Do you know where I might find him?
I only wish I did.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Vielleicht war es ja ihr Mann. Weil der vielleicht kein Nazi war und mit allen Leuten gut zurechtkam. Und sie ist so eine... Verprügeln. So, Mist, wir können ja hier nirgendwo suchen. Ah, wir fragen mal die Tochter, vielleicht weiß die was. Wo der Vater ist.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Mr. Fordham. Ah, hier. Celine.
Were you friends with Celine, the maid?
Yes, I was quite fond of Celine. She was so sweet and interesting to talk to. One day, she just left the house with no explanation. Mother said it was because she had found work elsewhere. I was terribly saddened. I wish I'd had the chance to say goodbye to her, at least. What's your interest in her?
Oh, I was just curious, that's all. Do you know Guy Dumas?
Yes, he was one of our servants. He used to enjoy reading my books, as well as Andrew's.
When did you see him last?
Just last week, he came by to see me and asked to borrow some books.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Not really. I get the impression that he moves around frequently. But I can tell him you're looking for him next time I see him, if you like.
Please do. Although hopefully I'll be able to find him before then. Is there anything you can tell me about your stepfather, Jean?
He's a kind man. I don't really see him too often. He seemed rather upset at Mother's funeral, but I can't help but wonder if he feels the same way as I do about her death.
What do you mean?
Just that I get the distinct impression that he and Mother's marriage isn't as perfect as they'd like it to appear.
I'm starting to sense a trend here.
Your brother told me that Jean enjoys hunting. Do you know where his cabin is?
Yes,
Oh,
it's in
yes.
Fenton Swamp. I went out there with him a few times, but I didn't really enjoy it. Frankly, the place is rather grotesque. All those stuffed trophies staring at you with their cold, dead eyes. Plants are much nicer to have around. Anyway, if you take the main road through the swamp, about 1.5 miles, you'll come upon a small dirt path that goes northeast. Take that until you see a small cabin on the left. That's it.
Thank you for the
Ich
information.
hoffe,
Miss
das muss ich mir
Montgomery.
nicht merken. Ich habe nicht...
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Okay. Ah, hier, Jagdhütte. Nice. Keiner da.
Hello? Is
Hello?
anyone here?
Strange of Dupré to leave the door unlocked. Maybe it means he'll be returning soon.
Oder er liegt tot im Keller, wenn es hier einen gibt.
One of the guns is missing. Jean must be out using it currently.